So do y'all remember when Lil Debbie was destroyed by John from Tennessee on Sway in the Morning?
John in Tennessee, go ahead. What you want to say?
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
Oh, come on, man.
Or how about Memphis Bleek's Garnier commercial with the white chicks back in 08?
You know my lady got that silky smooth. You know just how I do. I can run my fingers through. Garnier, you strong all day. It replenish your glow. It turn that dull into soft. So girl, tell friends to get lost. I'm with my lady friends, Memphis again. Just take a look at them. But if you don't understand, we can play the hook again.
So yeah, there's not much context or structure to today's video. I just started thinking of random moments that may have involved rappers either before they were known or during their career. Could be funny, could be cringe, or it could be moments that you might not have even known happened. Let's get into it. Remember that time when DDP sued Jay-Z over the diamond hand sign? Apparently the former pro wrestler copyrighted the diamond hand gesture back in the late 90s. I didn't even know you could do that, but he did it. And in 2005, he got pissed at people coming up to him saying things like, "Oh, did Jay-Z let you use that?" So he took action and filed a lawsuit against Hov and Rockefeller. The lawsuit was dropped in August of 2007 after both parties reached a settlement out of court. I couldn't find any details on the settlement amount, but either way it goes, I'm pretty sure DDP was well off. In 2018, TMZ brought this situation back up and said that DDP never actually filed for the trademark, but Page quickly took to Twitter to debunk this. Side note, I read comments on articles posted back in 2007 regarding this, and it kinda reminded me of modern day Twitter.
That's fucked up for real, Jigga man. Let him have the diamond. You don't need to do shit with those hands other than slap that bitch. Dallas must have been broke as shit to need to pull that one. I'm sure Jay probably owns some shit that could ruin dude's career and way. That's what Jay gets for rolling with them white people. Sued nigga, you had to pay this white nigga money because you used his hand shit. That hand shit is gay anyway.
So we really haven't changed that much as people. Anyway, does anyone remember Change of Heart? In case I'm the only ancient person here, I'll give a brief summary. Change of Heart was a late 90s, early 2000s dating show where a couple who were at odds would go on a date with some single people, and at the end they'd either choose if they wanted to remain a couple or if they had a change of heart and decided to opt with the person they went out with. About 5 years before we got the documentary, a 21-year-old game would be featured on an episode, and funny enough, Joe Budden was the first person I ever heard mention this back in 2004. Long story short, Game was pretty down bad in this show. His girl was clowning him, calling him a clingy crybaby and shit. She even put him on blast for not having a car. And in the end, she chose the other guy while the game opted to stay with her. Apparently this show isn't scripted either, so that's, yeah, that's pretty rough. But hey man, we all do dumb shit when we're young, so moving along. Remember 106 in Park? Of course you do. Freestyle Friday was my favorite segment, and did anyone know that this happened?
You a clown, I don't play those games. He's the great white knight, well I'm Dame the Ram.
It was unaired, of course, but it resurfaced online some years ago. Everyone remembers Blind Fury and his legendary run as champ, but do you remember Immortal Technique competing?
Yo. You are about to get abused today. This is Freestyle Friday. You belong on Written Tuesday. It's preposterous to talk back. They got me battling a black rhinoceros on crack. You've been ripping rhymes from a page. Craig Mack, tell your stunt double to get off stage. Yo, don't try to be tough. I'll end your career like you caught a case of puff. Dog, you ain't the one. You look like Cormega's illegitimate son. Yo, don't stand there and try to ignore me. I'll stick my head up in your girl and pull your seed out prematurely. Immortal Technique, the rawest kid you ever heard of. Murder your whole style.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well with the crowd. But anyway, remember that time in 2013 when Too Short had to take a sobriety test and he tried to take off running on the cops? Unfortunately, this led to community service and probation, and he didn't give a rat's ass about the community service part and was sentenced to serve 3 months in prison in 2015 instead of having another 3 years of probation added. But which would you rather choose? 3 years on probation or 3 months in jail? Comment below. So real quick, let's backtrack to the 90s. Circa 1991, Vanilla Ice was a guest on the Arsenio Hall show and an awkward interview was conducted. Long story short, Arsenio basically pressed him about whether or not he's being honest about his upbringing and where he's really from, brought up some negative things that Vanilla Ice may have said about MC Hammer, and at one point during the interview, Vanilla Ice brought out Flavor Flav and Arsenio swiftly dismissed that man and then went on to ask him if he only brought Flav out just to show that he has black supporters.
It's a pleasure. Now, do you mind waiting for us over there while we do this interview, please? If you don't mind.
Flavor Flav in the house.
You know, so this is a white rapper being suppressed kind of revenge. And everything. You have been embroiled in a lot of controversy. The press has been really hard on you lately, saying that you lie about your background, and they just been
That's
really
old news, though. You know, that's all old news. I didn't lie about.
But I haven't interviewed you, so it's new news for my audience. So let's get into it.
Flavor Flav, you know, me and him, we're homies.
Is that why you brought him out, just to show you have a black supporter? And
No, I brought him out because he's a friend of mine. They don't like that, man.
that don't bother me. I'm not liked by a lot
All right.
of people a lot of times,
Me
but
too.
I say what I want to say
So do
because
I.
I'm an American. I have
Word.
that right.
Okay, me too.
You think that balloon?
All right.
Don't faze me. I asked the question I asked. I didn't see a purpose. It seemed like an unmotivated
I
walk-on.
brought
I
him out
wondered why
here
you did
to
it.
show that he's my homeboy and he's in town and I'm kicking it with him and if, you know, I'm going to help him out like he helps me out. You know what I'm saying?
To his credit, Vanilla Ice handled it surprisingly well, but as long as we're talking about this guy, does anybody remember the story of Suge Knight dangling him over a balcony by his ankles? Now, this story has been debated over the years. Some people said it happened, some people said it didn't happen. Vanilla Ice at one point said it happened, and then more often than not, he denied it. But a man by the name of Mario Chocolate Johnson, aka the ghostwriter for Vanilla Ice, he wrote Ice Ice Baby along with about 8 other songs. He literally said that incident never happened. He was there apparently when it went down, and this also happened the same day as the Arsenio Hall interview. So as the story goes, Suge Knight did pull up to press this man because apparently Chocolate wasn't getting credited and paid for the songs that were put on the album when he was under the impression that they weren't going to be put on the album. So yeah, Suge Knight basically questioned Vanilla Ice about it and they were over a balcony. And perhaps at some point Suge Knight said, hey, you know, look at how high up we are, as to kind of throw those intimidation tactics that he's known so well for. Ultimately, Chocolate did take Vanilla Ice to court, he got his money and he got his credit, and that's that on that. But enough about Vanilla Ice. Remember when Tyler the Creator had Funk Flex shook with this freestyle?
Me and Flex looking in the index for buff net niggas just for some hot butt sex.
What made you go with that verse?
I don't...
What made you...
Yeah, that was actually fairly recent. I know most people remember that. But anyway, there are some positive moments that tend to happen in the world of hip-hop as well. Like the time ODB saved a 4-year-old girl who was struck by a vehicle. It was February 1998. Old Dirty Bastard was in the studio and looked out the window to witness an accident. A Mustang ran into the young child and she was stuck under the vehicle. ODB then took to action and got a few of his homies to help lift the car, and the young lady was taken to the hospital where he'd visit for a few days under a false name. He wasn't joking when he said Wu-Tang is for the children, rest in peace to him. And with that said, I'll end the video right here on a positive note. If you enjoy this content and want more, you know what to do. Until next time.